Hello, second graders. Welcome to another math class with me, Miss Taylor. It's nice to see you again. Let's see, are we ready for math? Do we have our fact practice packet? Mine's right here. Textbook. I think mine's underneath here. Workbook. Check. Paper, pencil, or whiteboard. Check. All right, let's get started. So here is our fact practice for today. You can see we are working on subtracting 7. So the other day we were practicing adding 7, and today we're working on subtracting 7. So thinking about using our addition facts to help us with subtraction. So for example, a number bond that we looked at the other day, if we start with the whole number 15, if 7 is one of the parts, 8 is the other part. So we know 7 plus 8 is 15, 8 plus 7 is 15, 15 minus 7 is 8, and 15 minus 8 is 7. So I see a fact down here that we could use. 15 minus 7 is 8. So we could use that here. All right, so I'm going to let you work on this. You can go ahead and pause the video if you'd like to, or you could do this after you watch the video. But your goal is to finish this one page in about 1 or 2 minutes. If that's not very tricky for you, try 30 seconds. See if you can time yourself or get a helper to time you. It's really good practice for your brain. And then remember to flip to the backside and check your work, because it's also really good for your brain to see right away, am I on track? Do I have the right answers? Have I got these memorized? Alrighty, so today we're going to do a little bit of review with mental math. So our goal for today is to try to do some adding and subtracting without really having to kind of write things down on paper. It's still okay to write things down on paper, but we're trying to kind of move beyond that to just hold these numbers in our minds. So let's take a look at a few examples together. Here we have the number 21. It's kind of at the top here. There's 2 tens and 1 1, 21 and 35. So we can kind of think about what it looks on a place value chart. So like 2 tens and 1 1 plus 35 would be 3 tens and 5 ones. And then we can think about, oh, well, I know that 2 plus 3 makes 5, so it'd be 5 tens, and 1 plus 5 makes 6. So another way you could kind of think about it, and I think you all did this a little bit last year, is if we're doing 21 plus 35, let's see, is that right, Miss Taylor? Yes. So they're kind of doing the same thing. They're showing you how to do it on this place value chart, but you could also do it this way, right? Draw your little kind of a little bracket underneath. 2 tens plus 3 tens makes 5 tens. Move that up a little bit. And then we can even put our 5 in the tens place. And then 1 1 plus 5 ones makes 6 ones. So our answer is 56. Okay, let's try another. So this one was adding. Let's try subtracting. So if we were going to subtract 13 from 27, we could think about it like our place value chart. So if we had 27 and we're going to take away 13, if you subtract 13, you're going to take it away. So they've taken away a 10 and 3 ones, and then it's kind of like, well, what are we left with? We're left with 1 10 and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 ones. Now, if we wanted to do it this way, we could think about it as 27 minus 13. So now we're doing 2 tens minus 1 10 would be 1, and 7 ones minus 3 ones would be 4. And we get that answer 14. All right. We can also use our fact family to help us. So we can use our knowledge of fact families, and remember those are numbers that kind of work together, and they're always the same 3 numbers. So here we have 2 parts, and then all together we have a whole. And it looks like one of our parts is 10, 20, 32. So that's one of our parts. Maybe I'll do my number bond to look like this for now. So 32 is one of the parts, and 10, 11, 12, 13 is the other part. Then I know together to make the whole, I'm going to add the two parts together. So we could think about, oh, I see 3 tens plus 1 10, and that makes, let's see, 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 tens, and 2 ones plus 3 ones is 5. So I know that's 45. Now I can make 4 different math equations with this information, and they have those equations for us down here. So if we know this number bond, we know 32 plus 13 equals 45. We know 13 plus 32 equals 45. We know 42 minus 32 equals 13. And then we know 45 minus 13 equals 32. So with just this one number bond, or with just this one picture, we actually know 4 different equations. All right, so we are going to do a little practice today with adding and subtracting. And for our homework, we're going to do some adding and subtracting. But again, the goal for today is to try to use mental math. So again, it's okay to write it down, especially if it helps you with your thinking, to write down a number bond or to kind of write down the adding the tens and the ones. That is totally okay. But we are kind of moving towards not having to write them down. So again, perfectly fine if you want to write them down for today. And then as we get better at our mental math, we'll find that we don't need to write them down as much. So like this one, I bet you don't have to write it down. 34 plus 3, because nothing's changing in the tens place. It's just the ones place. So really we can think about, well, I know the 3 is going to stay the same, 3 tens, and then 4 plus 3 is 7. So that one would just be 37. Same with this one, the tens place isn't changing. Now here, only the tens place is changing. So 56 plus 20, well, I can think about, oh, I'm just going to take those 2 tens and then add them to my 5 tens. And 5 plus 2 is 7, and then the 6 remains the same. Okay, so here, kind of just using our mental math to do some adding. And again, if you want to write it down, if that helps you, like for example, I'm going to look at this one, 61 plus 27. I could do this. Oh, I know 6 plus 2 is 8. And that would be 8 tens. And 1 plus 7 is 8. So the answer is 88. You could definitely do that if that helps you. All right, let's do a couple of the subtraction ones here. So number 13 says find the value of 65 minus 4. So with this one again, the tens place doesn't change. It's going to remain a 6. And I know that 5 minus 4 is 1. So the answer would be 61. Let's look at this one. It's a little harder. 86 minus 35, because both the tens and the ones place are going to change. So I could think about it like, well, let me look at the tens place. 8 tens minus 3 tens would be 5 tens. Let's see, is that right? 5 plus 3 makes 8. Yep. And then 6 ones minus 5 ones would be 1, because 5 plus 1 makes 6. And I can get my answer that way. All right, so let's take a look at our homework for today. Our homework is pages 34 and 35. And those look like this. Ooh, look at this. This is going to be fun. This is kind of like a little crossword puzzle. So if you haven't done this before, let me tell you how we do it. It's kind of fun. So it's a really fun way to check our answers and to make sure we're on the right page. So number 1 says add and write the answers in these boxes. And then you'll notice down below, it says across and down. So when we solve these equations, some of them we're going to write our answer across. And what that means is this way, the horizontal way. You're going to write your answer across. So for all of these, your answer, you're going to write it across this way. For all of these, you're going to write your answer down. Okay, and one thing that I would recommend that you do is to actually write your answers next to the problems here to help you, because it can get a little confusing. So let's start a few together. So this one, 50 plus 6. I'm going to use my mental map, and I know that's 56 because the tens place doesn't change, and 0 plus 6 is 6. So that's 56. So A, I'm going to go up here and find A. Oh, look at that. They've done it for us. And I'm going to write my answer, 56. So one number goes in each box, 56. Let's look at the next one. Part B says 38 plus 11. Let's see, I'm going to look at, I know 3 plus 1 makes 4 tens, and 8 plus 1 makes 9. So that one would be 49. For part B, I'm going to find, where is B? There it is. So this is B, and I'm going to write it across, because all the ones here, we're going to write our answer across. So this one, I'm going to write 49. Okay, now if we solved these problems correctly, it should work out with all the answers that we write across. They should kind of connect with the answers that we write down. So let's see if that works. So if we move over here to the down part, 53 plus 5, my tens doesn't change, and 3 plus 5 is 8, so I know my answer is 58. So I'm going to look for A again, but this time I'm going to write my answer going down. A down. Oh, they've already helped us, and they wrote 58. And that's kind of a way that we can check, yep, my answer is correct, because across my answer was this, and I can use the 5 from that answer to make this answer. Let's try one more. Part C says 96 plus 2. My tens place doesn't change, and I know 6 plus 2 is 8. So I'm going to write my answer down. I'm going to find C. There it is, and I'm going to write 98. So one number, one digit goes in each box, and that's 98. Let's try one more for the down. 21 plus 34. Let's see. 2 tens plus 3 tens, that's 5 tens. And 1 1 plus 4 ones is 5. So my answer should be 55. E down. So I have to find E. There's E. And I'm going to write 55. Okay. So again, I would recommend writing your answers alongside here as you work. And that way, if you kind of get confused or something doesn't match up, you can go back and check, wait a second, where did I make my mistake? All right, so the next page is very similar, only this one we're going to do some subtracting. So it's probably going to be a little harder. I know for me, subtracting is often more challenging. So 96 minus 21, let's see, 9 tens minus 2 tens, that's going to be 7, because I know 7 plus 2 makes 9. And then 6 ones minus 1 1 is going to be 5. So then I'm going to find A across. There's A, and I'm going to write that across, and they've done it for us, 75. Okay, so that is your homework for today. It's kind of fun to fill out this sort of little crossword with adding and subtracting. And I hope you have a fun time, and I will see you again soon. Bye, mathematicians.